Welcome, everyone! This is the Tanya Hoffman's Fabulous TV show. I am Tanya Hoffman, and this is my fabulous guest, Miss Debbie Allen. Oh! And you're going to be in for such a treat today. You know, as always, I always bring on the most fabulous guests that give you real information that's going to change your life, your business, something. So you never know what you're going to learn today, and that's what I love about it. You never know where we're going to end up. But today we're talking about public speaking to increase your business and results. And Debbie is one of our amazing speakers for the Public Speakers Conference, June 26th through the 29th. I did put the information over on the right-hand side so you can jump on that opportunity. We'll talk a little bit about how you can get yourself nominated for the collaboration of the year, but you do not want to miss Miss Debbie there, because you connected through Meetup and said, hey, and then I said, it's like, hey, I need to know you. And then it's, everything else is history, right?
We collaborated and we haven't even met in person yet. So
I love it. And you're like in Arizona or someplace like that, right?
Yes. Nice and warm.
I'm totally there with you. It was 80 degrees yesterday in Texas. I was like, I love being in Texas.
Yeah, that's great. Yes.
I was talking to someone up in Edmonton, which is past Calgary in Canada, and it was like, and this was Celsius, so I did the conversion. Conversion was still minus like 10. I'm like, Fahrenheit. I'm like, that's just crazy.
It is crazy. And so when you're a speaker and they ask you to come there, I go, okay, what are your summer months that you will be looking for speakers? Because I don't go there in the winter.
I did that with Milwaukee. They wanted me to come in February for this big university conference. And I'm like, February in Milwaukee? Are you kidding?
I paid my dues, right?
Exactly.
We're going to talk about that today too. Like the skill of speaking is, once you've got that, you can pay your dues and then write your own ticket.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about you, Debbie, so that people kind of get a sense of who you are and what you've been up to.
Okay, so since our topic is about speaking today, I've been a paid professional speaker, per se, when I started out, paid professional speaker for the last 20 years. Since then, of course, I've reinvented myself many times in the speaking business, but the skill of speaking has transformed my life in so many ways. So I have presented in 28 countries. I was on a 3-year world tour where I was doing most of those countries all in 3 years. I've written 8 books now. This is my newest book, which is a talk about collaboration, Insider Secrets of international speaking, right? So this came through another collaborative partner, somebody that I knew online, where we've shared leads and spoke all over the world together. So this just came out. It's published with McGraw-Hill in Singapore. So out of 8 books, is my third or fourth one, I think, with a major publisher, and pushed a few of these to bestsellers. So this is a great time to be even talking about that. So whether you want to do speaking in your backyard, you want to do speaking on a webinar, so you can sit in your bathrobe, whether you want to do speaking on a TV show like this, where you actually got to put makeup and fix your hair, or you want to travel the other side of the world. It's a fabulous skill. So I have been morphed through, basically being a marketing expert for 20 years, and went from kind of paid speaking. I don't do much of that anymore, which seems kind of strange, like when people pay you when you show up. I always say when my husband pimps me out, because he'll say like, we need to go there. I want to go to that city, so you need to do that gig, because paid speaking for me has changed because of the way I can now educate to sell programs. So a lot of times my programs are on stages like yours, the right kind of audience, stages like my stage for my events as well. I do a lot of my own events and get consulting clients for that. So, I've used a lot of my speaking skills to get consulting clients. Before, I was just pretty much getting paid to speak. So you can use the skill however you want, whether it's selling to get clients, for consulting or coaching, or whether it's getting paid to speak. I talk about all the streams of income so that you can say yes to all of those, becoming an expert who speaks professionally.
Right. And I know that's one of the things that people get confused about, because they think of speaking as the old platform, right? And they're like, you need a book. Okay, yeah, I've got 6 books. You've got 8 books. Okay, we got the books, but it doesn't require it anymore. It's all about building relationships, and not just with the people booking you, but also your audience. And I think that's one of the biggest difference, because I used to get paid to speak. I still do, like you said. Every once in a while, I'm like, all right, fine, because you don't make as much and you don't connect as well, I find. But when you start looking at that relationship that you build with your audience, it's so golden, right? It's the easiest way to build everything that you're wanting to create for yourself, for your business, opportunities that you can't even imagine.
Yes. Well, and so what I teach, one of the name of my workshop and my other book is The Highly Paid Expert. So it's all about becoming experts. And one of the things experts do is they educate. So they're educating through video, they're educating on stages, they're educating for online programs. So now the opportunities are massive. Like, 20 years ago, it was easy to have a website and have somebody find it. Now it's like you can create a website and an online presence and make a lot of money without even having to travel and speak and doing all that. So once you find what your specific expertise is and then own that, and then launch yourself out there that way. That's really the key, and that's the foundation. That's the most critical piece, where people are not successful in this business because they're trying to be something to everybody, or they're a sales and marketing expert. You got to be one, and then you got to find the path within the path, the niche. You got to get it really defined and narrow to what you can own, that people know you specifically for. So, for years I was known for Shameless. That's why just call me Shameless, because I wrote a book called Confessions of Shameless Promoters, and I blew up that brand. But then it kind of put me in a box at that time. I couldn't take it any further. So the reason I wrote another book was really to fit another brand image. But it wasn't just the book. It was the events and all the other things. And so The Highly Paid Expert really fits everything I do. It's what I do when I help people build their businesses and everything. So the brand foundation is just a piece of it.
And, a lot of times when people want to start off with exactly what is it that I want to speak about. They all want that perfect, I'm going to make a lot of money on this topic. And it's about learning and tweaking what people want to book at the moment, and then what are you going to transition that into? And you really don't know until you get out there and really start speaking to kind of hone in on, because it's the best for small business owners, especially, market research. It's like the easiest, fastest way to figure out your market research.
Well, and a lot of us started out as speakers many years ago. You had a topic on networking, maybe something on marketing or business growth or something like that, basic stuff. And then you morph into it. So when you get that thing and you own it, everything starts shifting. So for me, like, I've owned different brands. My brand now is the Expert of Experts. So I was coined that title by my clients, because you say you're like the expert of experts. You teach people how to become experts, and you build a whole business and brand around that. So let me give you an example of one. I just spoke with a client this morning, and he owns a salon business. His name is Glenn. He owns a salon in Louisiana, and he has been kind of a celebrity in the salon industry, going out there speaking. But they don't pay him a lot of money. He's kind of the spokesperson. Now he wants to build his whole business around what he was known for, which is how to increase sales through communication. So he's like one of the top salons in the country where we're selling a specific hair product. And so he's number one, actually. So he did it through teaching his staff how to communicate. So then they were asking me to speak everywhere. So now he's going to the next chapter in his life and, using his skills as a salon owner to be a professional expert that speaks on communication. So let me get his brand here. It's like, just read you what I did with him. So Glenn is called the Sales Communication Expert. So anything we brand, we all find everything that he can get around all the domains first. So we want to make sure we get the domains. He can own it. He can build his business upon it. So we got salescommunicationskills.com, another number of other ones that worked around that for an event he might be doing, a workshop, that kind of thing. And of course, we got the Sales Communication Expert, like he owns it.com. And so we're building the brand around him as a celebrity, because he's already kind of known in the salon industry. he will niche into the salon industry as a start, but he can go into retail. He can go into real estate. He can be anywhere with this. It's such a broad market. But the same with me. When I came out of retail, building and selling numerous retail stores, I niched into retail, and I loved marketing. I was really good at that. So his thing is sales in the salon industry, and then he'll expand and broaden upon that. But the thing is, he realized that when I launch, I got to brand myself effectively. Otherwise, what happens is you don't have a good brand, you're too general, and then you got to go and tear all your website down and start all over again if you don't launch. So a lot of people have to relaunch. I have speakers who have been speaking for 17 years. I have another client 25 years. I have another client 35 years. Professional speakers that come to work with me because they have been in this little box and now they have to completely reinvent, new website, new brand, because they want to shift the way they're doing business because the industry has shifted.
Well, and that's really why I created the Public Speakers Association in the first place, is that people kept coming to me and they're like, what do you mean, Tanya, you went and spoke in front of that 20 lovely ladies and walked out with $5,000 in sale and you spoke for free? And I'm like, well, aren't you? And you've been speaking for 20 years. And they started realizing that they were having a hard time adjusting to this new platform. And they didn't know how to create it as a business versus kind of an employee type of, I'm just going to get paid, go do my thing and leave, right? It's a different whole scenario.
Exactly. But that's what many of us would learn. That's what I learned 20 years ago. I didn't even know. There was very few women speakers, and then I learned it was a profession, and then I joined the National Speakers Association. I've been a member for 20 years. I'm still a member. I've met some amazing people through there. I still do. A lot of people that I meet are now my clients, so it's a great resource for me to be involved just in a different way. But the thing that they teach is basically platform selling, or platform speaking, excuse me. Then you don't sell from the stage, you get paid to speak, and you got to do a real soft sell. And so I had to relearn a new skill of how I call it, like I said, educate to sell, and how to feel comfortable with that. And it was harder. I think it's harder for a lot of my professional speakers who have been in that industry for so long, just getting paid, gig per gig, the talking head, I call it. Is that, I reinvented myself because of the whole economy crashing and 50% of the speaking industry changed. Well, it's never come back to the way it was before that. And so is there opportunity for get paid to speak? Yes. But what Tanya and I are saying is there's other streams of income. And so a lot of my clients, they're not real polished professional speakers. They're going to be able to go out there and get $5,000 to $10,000 a keynote. They're not even going to be probably keynote. A lot of them are trainers. So why would you go and speak? Because here's the model of NSA, and I love NSA, but I will tell you, National Speaker Association, is that some people went out there to speak 50 to 100 times for free to learn how to be good at speaking. Now, that to me is not a good business model, right? You either got to go out there and get paid right away, because I got paid right away, first right out of the bat, because I realized that I'm selling my expertise. So it's really important to know that where you're going, that is one stream, that's one opportunity. But when you're starting out, you don't have to be a great speaker, but Tanya teaches you how to be a good speaker and how to put yourself out there and I teach you how to be the expert. And then with those two together, some good speaking skills and expert. Yeah. I mean, you can write your own ticket. There's just, like you said, Tanya, it's an endless amount of opportunities out there.
Well, and if you start really looking at the creation of, the movement now with speaking as, really part of your marketing budget, right? It's just part of, how are you promoting yourself and connecting to people? And one of the problems that I still see in a lot of people is that they're talking because they're trying to be a professional speaker versus someone who educates and entertains. So it's edutainment people. You got to be entertaining, but you've got to give them great content. They don't want to just be inspired or motivated anymore. They want to walk away going, oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what to do now. It's that ahas you want from people.
Right. And so if you're up there on the platform, and I'm saying platform, meaning online, whatever, You're giving great content. Now, here's another thing that happens for a lot of people when I teach them the Educate to Sell program. They give too much information because they're like, I want to give you everything because I'm a trainer. I want to share. That's what I am. And then you give too much and then nobody buys. Oh, or you're giving away other things that you kill. So there's so many ways you can kill sales too. It's a whole different skill than learning to speak. But the thing is that one of the biggest things I see is people will give way too much information. And then what they come down to the end where they're supposed to make the offer, they rush through it because they ran out of time. But the whole idea is you waived your fee. I don't like to say free. You waived your fee because you should have a contract that shows your full fee and it's waived. So you never say you speak for free. And then you set the guidelines of how you want the room set up, where you want a closing table. Then you get, because you're now in control of that because you waived your fee. So the other part is you came to sell. And then you put yourself in a position to over-educate, to over-give, and now you've cut your closing time, which was supposed to be this long, down to like this, and you realize you rushed it, and you have no idea how much money that's cost you. So that's where I see one of the biggest mistakes that most people make when they're learning how to do that.
Yeah, I always tell people, when you're putting on, because I totally did it. I think most people, we want to over-educate because it's for us. We want to prove that we know so much, right? and I think it's kind of a self-ego type of thing. Is let's pack so much into their head, but in 5 minutes their eyeballs are rolling back. And I'm always telling people, look at it as a chessboard. What you're wanting to do in your presentation is just convince the audience why they should sit down and play the game with you, not how to capture the king. You'll find that one person who wants you to train them on everything, but on the reality of the audience, why should they even be playing the game? And then you hit it at just the right level. Because then that next step is your sales, and that's on how to move that very first pawn move. That's going to get you, kind of connected into the audience.
Well, the thing is, too, it's like, I think the reason that we overshare is because a lot of speakers are really passionate about what they speak on, and they really want people to get it. And I spoke because I was passionate. I didn't want to be a speaker. I never wanted to be a speaker. I wanted to help people be successful in business because I've had, very successful entrepreneurial career. And so I love business, and I love speaking on it and helping people, giving them ideas. So I would just give, way before I knew that. So the other part is just realizing that how can you share 60 minutes, 90 minutes from stage, like your years of experience? Everybody that's listening here has got years of wisdom and something or skills that, nobody else would know. So sometimes you think, oh, this is too basic. Like, why they know this stuff? People don't know the most basic stuff you know. Like, been doing it for so many years, it becomes second nature. I mean, successful people make things look easy, right? But now think about somebody that's baby steps, and you got to take them through the levels. And then you got 60, 90 minutes from stage, and then you go to your close, you say, hey, I've been doing this for 20 years. I mean, some of you think you could just leave and figure it out on your own. And some of you will implement some of the steps I've had, and I'm thankful that you can do that. But those that are really serious, you need some help. You need some support. And that's where you come in, is being that support for whatever it is you're teaching them with your skills. And when I go to making an offer, and I don't know if you're like this, Tanya, I get excited. I look at the audience and go, oh my gosh, these are some of my new business family, because I actually consider my clients like my family. And I love growing businesses. So I think I get to grow these businesses and help them. And I see them grow and expand so quickly. So I get really excited when I'm going to the close. But when I first learned it, I would be really excited and enthusiastic through my presentation. And my coach at the time was teaching me, said your energy shifted. Your voice actually went down. So you're like this, animated. And then I went to the sales. And I subconsciously was not comfortable at first. So my energy and my voice went down. So I said, you see me do this again, stand up in the back of the room. So she'd stand up and I'd catch myself. All right, okay. So it's a different skill, but I love what I do now more because like you said, Tanya, you leave them with more. I can now take some people back and work with them versus when I did a keynote in front of thousands of people, I would leave and go, gee, I hope they implement some of that stuff. I won't hear from the majority of them. I don't know what happened to their lives or how I impacted them at all.
Yeah. Well, and even, if you look at platforms even like this, right, you're getting to start meeting people that are all over the place. And that's what's so incredible is you have an opportunity now to really change people's lives, and you start that process. So the first time you talk, like the other day, I was talking about doing these live TV shows, and a lady was like, can you teach me? I'm like, of course I could teach you. So I'm doing a whole course on Monday on how to create your own internet TV show, because it requires that you not only look at, for most people, the doing, but what's the strategy behind the doing? And I think that's where a lot of people, they're like, I'm going to teach you how to set up Twitter. Okay, but what's the strategy for Twitter?
Right. I'm there, but what are we doing with it, right? Not only, and then getting the right host. There's a strategy, getting the right guests. There's a ton of different strategies, a ton of little pieces. Even if you say I want to do a webinar, I want to do a teleseminar, there's a ton of pieces. There's a whole marketing thing that goes along with it. There's got to be the web page. There's got to be the email campaigns. I mean, once you do them, you get it going. It's easier the next time. But the first time you do anything, you're going to make the most mistakes. It's going to take you twice as long. So like you, Tanya, I have worked with so many different mentors and people that just, cut the learning curve for me. I don't want to make those mistakes are timely. Time and money, two things we want the most of. So if I can go to somebody that's already doing it and being successful, let me invest in that and let me go faster. And that's really made a massive difference. The investment that I've made in my my speaking career, investing in different things along the way, different people.
It's investing in what you don't know and help get that fast help, right? Get immediately to what you need to know, and then how are you going to get it done? And then the other big investment is going to actual conferences, where you can actually connect with the people hosting, the people that are the speakers. And then if you should be going to conferences where your target market is there, you're also connecting with people who are going to make you a lot of money. And a lot of people do not invest in live conferences.
Oh, there's nothing like it. I've been doing live events for 10 years. And just like your public speaking conference that's coming up in Palm Springs in it's June, isn't it?
Yes.
End of June. Yeah, I'm gonna be there. So I the passion, the excitement of being at a live event, like the people you meet, you're absorbed in it versus like, okay, I'm going to sign up for this online program. And then you bought it. How many programs did you buy and you didn't even do it, right? Because you weren't there. You're there. You're doing it. You're absorbing the energy. You're meeting these speakers. You're meeting these people that you admire to learn from. And the amount of education and energy that goes into you learning in a live event, there's nothing that's ever going to replace that. That's why there are a lot of work to do, but 10 years, I still love them because you have created a lifetime experience for people. I have people that are talking about my first event 10 years ago, and I was at this event, and they know the speakers, and they remember it like it was yesterday. I'm like, wow, that impacted their lives, and that was 10 years ago.
I know, and it's interesting to me because I go to a lot of people's conferences. Usually I'm, 90% of the time I'm speaking, but every once in a while I'll go to be supportive or sponsor an event or something like that. And every once in a while I just go because, my target market is there. And a lot of people don't look at the strategy behind that. They're so effective to create opportunities. I know I went to Sachovich's event to see what she was doing, how she laid it out, what she was saying, how does she do her pitches. You can learn so much by watching and seeing the actual process in action. And then, of course, that's my entire, the whole audience was my target market. So I ended up walking out with $10,000 in sales. And I think it was like 3 or 4 huge speaking opportunities just because I just went there to be an attendee. But I had a strategy going in, right?
Right, because you knew who you were talking to, started the right conversations. And then, not even saying like how much you learn, like watching their back of the room, watching the things on the stage. You learn from every speaker. You don't watch speakers because you want to copy what they're doing. You learn going, oh, okay, she did it this way. And I was trying to think, what I just watched somebody recently. Can't can't even remember. It seems like days ago. But I was like, oh, okay, they did this and this and this, and I never thought about it. Oh, okay. So I was at an event earlier this week. I saw a speaker, and I did. First I'm catching myself going, oh, she could be better. I mean, yeah, I kind of teach that. And as you get out of your own head, going, forget that, forget saying they could do, because that's a speaker just kind of critiquing. So I got out of that. I'm like, pay attention to what she's doing here. Oh, and then she was brilliant. She knew exactly what she was doing, where she seated in places and what she offered and how their audience responded. I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. Wow, I see what she did. That's cool. I never tried that. I'll try that in my way. And so, I love to.
And I love going up and asking if I see something new that I haven't seen someone do before. I love going up and asking them, have you been doing that a lot? And then, because sometimes they're just trying something out, so you're not sure if it really worked or not. But if I see something really working, and then I want to find out what was their strategy for it. I remember when I started doing these little contest forms where people fill out the information, I got that from Elizabeth McCormick. And I ran over to her and I'm like, what are you doing? People actually fill that out. They actually circle, because she had like a gazillion for people to circle. I was like, I'm totally doing that. It was like one of the best marketing tools that I use now. So you learn from these other experts, right?
Yeah, I have to see that. Yeah, you learn, you try it, and not everything's for you, but you learn so much when you watch that. So that's really cool. And I love it how one thing I noticed about you, like I didn't even know you and I already knew you were like this, that I loved. We connected so instantly. It's like say it like it is and go for it. You're just like, you just ask and you go, and that's what's made you successful. And I mean, I'm the same way. Like you're just real and authentic, and you say it like it is. And I'm like, I'm totally that girl too, because we're business people. Get it done, learn. It's all in a process of sharing, and you asked it in a way where they want to be supportive, because speakers are supportive,
and be careful, everyone. Perfect example yesterday, this lady reached out from Canada, and she had found out about the organization, and there were words that she used, because a lot of times we don't hear what we're saying and how we say things. And it had like huge red flags for me that she was just starting out, but she was pretending. Be careful about faking it till you make it. Too much.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Because she had like the billionaire branding. I'm like, billionaire branding? And I mean, first of all, if small business owners are your target market, no one is looking at billionaire branding. That's kind of branding that it doesn't even fit for entrepreneurs. So there's just disconnects. And then everything that came out of her mouth was me, 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 me. She wanted just to talk about what she wanted and how I could help her. And I was like, so what are you offering me? And she couldn't answer it. I'm like, you've got to learn to leverage, and you've got to learn to connect with people and offer back. That's what I liked about you. We just connected, and we're like, can we do, hey, what are you doing? Oh, let's do this together. Oh yeah, we fit really good here. How can I help your peeps? How can you help mine? It's about playing together.
Yeah, we were instantly like, let's play together. And how does that all work? Because then there was a strategy behind that. Okay, so how do we play out the whole year? And just even us collaborating, it was like, okay, we put like a whole year together, and then fill in spaces in between there. And I love that, because with those kind of joint venture collaborative partnerships, you don't need a lot of those. You could have 5 or 10 of those, and they can feed you business and referrals. And then you go, there's this virtual summit that I'm on, and I go, oh, you need to have Tanya. Or I'm on a stage, you need to have Tanya. We just think about each other. And I have a couple, people like that. They're just like, they just throw business to me like, yo, you need other people. So, as speakers, a lot of times, especially going in as a keynote speaker, even if we're speaking, selling, whatever it is, they kind of used us up. Like, you get that spot and like, okay, we've used you up until you get another book or another thing, we'll bring you back again. So why not throw it to other people that you can keep in that loop, in that circle? And your point too, Tanya, about, faking it before you make it. Yeah, you want to play at a higher game with people, but you got to pay your dues a little bit too. I mean, we've been in this business a long time, and you got to come out with what makes sense. So when people talk about billionaire branding, or they're talking about speaking on affluent, how to make money in an affluent mindset, and they're freaking broke, I'm like, okay, you need to change that up, right? Like, how are you, really going to be selling people? There's going to be a disconnect, and people are going to feel it. You got to teach what you really have put the effort into.
Yes, and that always irritates me, and I see it happening more and more. People are like, "I'm going to give you six figures, solutions," and I'm like, "Okay, I know you're not even making six figures, so do it yourself. That way, you could be an and it's okay to say five figures. Most people would love five figures,
Yeah, be real, right? So that they're over promising. So let's hit that point too, the unethicalness. So the thing about what is really hard for me in the event business now is because you think, oh, can you get speakers to speak at your event? Oh, yeah, endless amount of speakers want to come speak. One, they aren't maybe very good on stage yet, or they don't know how to sell from stage. And and I bring fewer speakers in because the Pitch Fest doesn't work anymore. We're going deep into training. And the other part is getting speakers and experts who are really ethical. And so I have to be very selective because I got to know that whatever they say on stage is not overselling the dream, and that they are going to really deliver what they are saying that they deliver. And their customer follow-up is excellent, because that goes back on me. Because if they end up having a speaker or somebody's on stage, like Tanya, I'm on your stage, and then I promise the world, hey, you're going to make 6-7 figures in the first 3 months learning this skill for me. Well, no, it's going to take time. I got to be honest, going to be real. I'm going to show some good case studies of people that have done well. I usually take the worst ones, people that were like clueless and then really, shifted. And then, I'm going to have a really great follow-up. How would you make you feel if I was on your stage and I sold something and then people called you and said, hey, this Debbie Allen, she never called me back. She didn't email me. I mean, you'd never have me back in it. And it would not only hurt the reputation that I have with you and the ethics that I have with in your relationship, you'd never refer me to anybody else. And I don't think this is a lot of people that are doing this business that are just really not doing it ethically. And that is critical to sustain in this business because 20 years, I don't have scam reports all over the internet, all that I've done and all the business I've had. I don't have stuff. And so, there's a lot of people out there with big names that are still doing their own thing that are, if you look them up, they've got all kinds of scams against them and rip-off reports like crazy. So, one, you don't want to be that person, and the other is you don't want to invest in that person.
Exactly. And when I started looking at my first conference, I had one of the biggest names out there come. I would never, ever refer him to anybody because of just those same issues. No communication skills. And then once he sold at the event, he never delivered on the products he sold. And I'm like, you are one of the biggest names out there, and this is how you're treating your audience and your host. I mean, that was ridiculous. I expected so much more.
No excuse for a follow-up or anything. Yeah, it's crazy because you think, it eventually's got to catch up to people because, what we're teaching you is, hey, you can make a lot of money in this business. The thing about speaking, it's almost like what I call license to steal, because when you are good at it, you are good from the stage, you are authentic, you are sharing a message that can help a lot of people, and you also know how to have the skill of selling on stage, and you also know how to really follow up with those people and make a difference in their lives once you've made the sale. You can do all of those things. Let me tell you, it's your license to steal. So the problem is that a lot of people, because it is a way to influence people. And so people have used it for bad. So I've seen some of those brilliant speakers on stage. These men and women, they're so brilliant. They can sell from stage. They got the audience laughing. They love them. They fall absolutely in love with them. And they're 5 deep back in the room buying from them. And I'm thinking, oh my God, those people don't even know how unethical that person is. But they were so good and so convincing, and they will keep getting away with it. It's a big world. So some of them that have burned their bridges so badly in the United States, some real scam artists that were really saturated in the United States, they go to other countries and they start speaking on some of those stages in the other countries that don't know about them. Still the internet's there though, right? If people are doing any kind of research, they're going to find some of these people's name coming up over and over again, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of times we get, you know, when you look at speaking, there's a lot of things that are going on, and I think that's what a lot of people get a little overwhelmed when they first get into speaking, because you're not just looking at it as I'm going to go out there and speak, but you have to engage that audience and kind of bring them into your world. And that's how I know if someone's really a professional speaker, you know, because I've seen a lot of people that have been speaking for, you know, many, many moons, but when they walk off stage, nobody goes over to talk to them. And I'm like, you may have been amazing and had an incredible presentation, all perfectly lined out, but it didn't connect. And those people weren't wanting to go further with you, you know, versus, you know, when you see some people get off stage, and you probably have this reaction, Debbie. I feel like I've done my job if I can't even get off of the stage in time when people are coming up asking questions. That is what I want. Is that immediate, you've got to know more. There's more that I need, you know. To me, that's what you're doing your job right.
Well, and that's two different skill sets too. So let's take that scenario. Paid professional speaker wants to get this and a standing ovation, right? Now when you learn a skill, if you're waiving your fee to go and speak, you don't want a lot of this. You don't want them standing. I'm thinking, I have done that where I bombed on stage. They were standing. Oh my gosh, you're the best speaker of the whole weekend. They're standing up applauding, thinking, oh my gosh, I totally shot myself in the foot here because I killed my sales. So it's completely different. There, your applause are throwing credit cards at you. I want to learn more. I want to work with you. And that's the shift you get used to. So the applause is the people, like you say, coming up to you, asking the right questions that you know you can support them with. And so your ego totally, you know, it's different. You know, like I said, I had to learn one skill and the other. I think when you're starting out and you don't have to relearn a skill, you're probably in a better place than having to learn that, you know, because a speaker that wants to speak just to share their message and get the applause, you're stuck in a little box, and, you've got one box of speaking and paid, and that's one stream of income. You might have some products online and stuff like that, but it's not what I teach, not what Tanya teaches. There's so many other ways. And when you come to her public speaking conference, you're going to see we all have different ways we do business. There's so many ways of doing it. You're just using the skill. All we're talking about is using the skill of speaking to create a business.
Exactly. You know, and I just came back from the special event, which is like the worst name ever for an event. But they've been doing it for 30 years, so I guess they shouldn't change it.
I never heard about it.
Oh my gosh, Debbie, we have to talk. Oh my gosh. So it's 5,000 plus event planners.
Oh, somebody told me about that just recently. Okay.
So I was a speaker there, and then I went and got a vendor booth, and I subdivided it so that we could all play in one space. It was brilliant. We were all working it. I ended up with so many speaking engagements just from the ladies that were there in the booth with me, you know, and, but it was incredible. But what people don't realize is there was, you know, 250 chairs. People came in. I started speaking. I was so excited because there was about 10% or so that immediately got up and left. And I'm like, oh, I was so excited. Now, most people would be like, oh my gosh, people are leaving. And I'm like, no, those are the people that it's the wrong venue for them. It's the wrong information. Get them out of the room so that you can focus on the people that are like, yes, this is the right information.
Yeah, that's okay. You know, I'll get it. Yeah, you'll have to share that with me. And yeah, well, that's what's great about it is because I am just getting to know you. And like you said, you make these connections. And like I said, I just found you online. I didn't really know of you before. I mean, loved that you had that association name. I mean, absolutely brilliant what you've done. I'm like, and I started checking you out. I mean, it's what's going to happen is people are going to find you online. They're going to be checking you out, and not only in Google, going to your website. They're looking everywhere else you're seeing. They're looking at videos. They're looking at your YouTube. They're looking at other stuff that's out there. I mean, they're totally checking you out. Who are you connected with? What other places have you been? I mean, I did a lot of connecting and finding out things out about you before I even, you know, connected with you. So, and then when you find those connections, like you say, you don't have to have a lot of them. Things can blow up very quickly. Because you're all out to support one another. And if you get people, I would always say, I've always been very collaborative in any business I've ever had, giving business to other people. Who else can I share this with? As soon as I get I feel honored. I feel blessed that I've been in this business so long. Who else can I help? And I will share that. And sometimes you would share it with the wrong people. So I would always say, you know, you can invite people to come play in the sandbox, but some of them don't get invited back because they don't play well in the sandbox. So you don't have a lot of room for all of them, and just the ones that you want your partners that think like you do. And they used to call it the good old boys club, Tanya. Now we got some good old girls club. We got, you know, it's girls and boys. You know, it's not. I have some amazing guy friends, business associates. In fact, I was talking to Joe Vitale this morning, back and forth on email. I mean, he's a pretty cool person to know that when you text him, he responds within a minute. You know, it's just some people that I've met. We don't hang out all the time, but you need a collaborative partner for something. You know, you just got your list of people that you connect with, and that's an amazing part of this business.
Exactly.
It's this whole family, right?
Well, and you know, what a lot of people are like, you know, free speaking. I really like calling it investment speaking, because you're really investing your time and your own personal money to go someplace like the special event in Florida. I spent $1,500 to go there just for the travel. That's not even the vendor booth, which was ridiculous. It was about $10,000 for that. But you know, you start looking at this whole conglomerate. What's going to happen from it? You know, what's going to be the outcome? And people don't look at it as a strategy. They're like, they just focus on the 1,500. Yeah, but I could turn that 1,500 into 7,000, and that's not even before following up with everybody. So, you know, you're looking at $20,000 to $50,000 after all the follow-up's done. So that's what I try to get across to people is thinking about it as a business, you know, forum where it's an investment in your business versus this is just an expense.
Well, yeah, like you said, it's part of your marketing tool, because, you know, no matter how big your database is, if you're continually doing events or putting yourself out there, you saturate your database list. So you've got to keep bringing more people in. So whether that's a collaborative virtual summit, which I have one coming up soon, as a collaborative virtual summit to help you build your database list and get your word out for you, or it's a live event or whatever it is you continually need to be going out to get new people. And some of them come through emails, which is harder to connect with email anymore because people get so many of them. Live events, when you make that connection, those are probably magnified 10 times. Wouldn't you say, Tanya, they go so fast because they met you?
Oh my gosh, because it all just kind of trickles, right? It's like this spider web that just expands out. So you start with them, say on Facebook or wherever, right? Blab. So you meet somebody. So I met Ida today, and I'm like, oh, she just seems like she's so wonderful. Her picture is over there. She's got such a beautiful smile. Now I don't know where that's going to lead with Ida. We may become like the bestest of friends. You know, Teak is on, and she just joined us. She's incredible. She's over in California, and I know Teak, and we are building this bond every time you're in front of people. So you get them on Facebook, and you get them on Twitter, you get them in front of an event. So when they get to an event and you're there live and you actually get to meet people, there's this connectivity that's already supercharged. It's already warmed up your market. And that's what's so incredible about the internet process nowadays, you know, versus when you said you had retail stores. I had retail stores too. And back then, you had to do stuff in the yellow pages, for goodness
sake. Oh, yeah. I used to teach them. Sprint Yellow Pages was one of my best clients. I was on a contract with them for 3 years, teaching people how to write their ads and all that. Yeah, it's totally so different. Yeah, it's amazing.
I know, $1,500 a month. Because you couldn't just in Houston. Oh my gosh, there was like 6, 7, 8 of those yellow pages, depending on what part of Houston you wanted to put the ads in. I mean, it was expensive. And really, you know, you would get, you know, 1 or 2 calls a month. I mean, it really never equated to, I mean, look at now. I mean, it's just incredible, the opportunity.
Well, see, and back then you would think, you know, we had our stores. You think, I have to put myself there because my competition is going to be there. I have to advertise. It's like I have to spend this money. So when I had stores in the Midwest, and then when I moved to Scottsdale, Arizona, it was a touristy area. Then you had to be in the guest books that were in the hotels. I mean, it just kept going on. You know, the expenses were like triple, right? And you kind of had to be there. because we didn't have the online presence. So now it's unbelievable for people what you can build, put a Facebook page up and a website. So investing and getting that right, the website, the brand, everything you do is such a small investment to what, we're paying it was $100,000 to build out a store. That was many years ago. Just do a build out, and then you put a shingle, you put a sign out there. You hope you have zero database lists. You've got another $100,000 in inventory, and you wouldn't even consider that online now. So it's so inexpensive to start a business. And if you're going to start a business online, why not start an expert business? I mean, the profit compared to the expert business, the income and the profit is massive compared to what we did in retail. It was like work our butts off, do $1 million a year to get 10%.
I know. We did $750,000 in our 2 little retail stores, and I'm like, well, I never saw that. It went to the employees, it went to the overhead, it went to everybody and their mother, the $1 million worth of liability insurance. It's just like, it was just like all these little hands out, and people complain about launching a business and spending, $1,000 or $500. And I'm like, really? Because I had to spend $100,000 just to get the product in for Christmas, and hoped that it would all sell so that you could reinvest it for the next year. I mean, it was just a cycle.
That background. Yeah. So I get anybody in my audience that's retail. I go, oh my God, we need to talk. We need to get rid of that brick and mortar store. And they're like, oh, you don't understand. I've had my store for 2 years. It's my passion. It's my love. I'm like, okay, are you making any money? Well, no. And so I've got a client like that right now. So we're reinventing her completely, but she still has part of her heart into that store. I said, I totally get it. Because I never really had my heart in my store. I've always been an entrepreneur, build to sell, build to sell. That's my concept. So, I mean, I'm falling in love with the business that I couldn't say, oh, your baby, you got to get rid of it. Yeah. No, it's a business, so I looked at it.
There's something about retail that I so miss. Every time I see like one of the empty lease now signs, in a little shopping strip, I'm like, ooh, but there's no way.
I do that too. And then the nightmare comes back.
Exactly.
Right?
There's no way I would ever start anything like that ever again, because it makes no logical business sense nowadays with what is available.
You can't compete with the bigger stores, and even they're really hurting now too. It's just the industry's just changed so much. But I have a favorite little home boutique that I go to, home decor, and they also have a whole section with clothes. They just got back from market. They spent an entire week, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she had to have her assistant there. She had every designer there. She had all that expensive an entire week. They came back. Shipments are coming in. All that work. I went in and went, oh my gosh, I could just shop here now, and I got a lot of money I can spend. That's much more fun.
Well, and it was interesting because I went from retail to wholesaling because I knew so much about the retail part. It seemed natural to get into wholesaling, and became one of the top, salespeople for the wholesale arena. And the first thing I would tell people is, okay, stop buying the things that are on sale at wholesale. That means that nobody bought them. Just some logical things.
It's a reason there.
Just because it's on sale doesn't mean you want to buy it and put it in your retail store.
Or get into it, be a designer because you want that. So what we're talking about here, guys, is that it's great to have your passion. And Tanya and I have been through our passions. We've made money in our passions. But we're telling you about the speaking business because not only can you share your message, I mean, what a better thing in life to be able to share your legacy, to leave your legacy with you as you're living, and be able to share a passion with what you're interested in with other people and help their lives. And then to make so much profit from it when you do it right. So that's what we're telling you. This expert business, the speaking business, it's a very profitable, very heart fulfilling, and bank account filling business. Both. It's great.
Yeah, it's very lucrative, and people are like, but I don't see how you make money, and if people aren't paying you. And I'm like, you're missing the whole part. It's about creating a business where it's part of your marketing, and when people get the idea, because they're always like, well, you make that much money selling books? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I still have this. I'm going to make $1 million. Yeah.
It's all of it. But I teach people how to get a quick cash formula. Okay, so if you can go out and figure out a coaching program or something, a VIP day, something that you can sell right away, then you got to have a product. You have to have something they're selling, and you are the product. Your wisdom is the first thing. So people think I got to have these books and all these CDs and all this stuff, right? The most expensive product you'll ever sell, most profitable, is your information. So then we create a quick cash formula. How can we go out and get a client? Because when people say, I don't have the money to invest, I can't do what, let's sit down. Let me put a plan together. You can go make the money like tomorrow, right? You got some followers, you put it together. You're just not thinking that way yet. So once you start getting that clear, money starts, coming into you. So it's easier than a lot of people think, but they don't have the know it all of how to put that all together.
Exactly. And I want to encourage everybody to come to the Public Speakers Conference and meet Debbie and me in live. So I put the information over there to the right. It's Public Speakers with an S conference.com. Plus, while you're there, we have nominations open for Collaborator of the Year, local, national, and international. You need to get into the international one, Debbie. And what's so great, everyone, is that once you're nominated and you're coming to the conference, then you can use that nomination forever, and it's almost as good as winning the award. So I encourage everyone to get nominated, and guess what? You can nominate yourself. My panel here in Austin, who knows no speakers, they're adorable, but anyways, they don't care if you nominate yourself. So just get nominated. Plus, we have a whole video contest. You can submit under a 5-minute, not professional. You don't have to professionally make it, but it's the words coming out, the best business tip, the best personal development, the best personal story. I mean, there's lots of categories. So get on there and submit that also. You'll want to definitely jump on that. And so, Debbie, do you have anything you would like to give our audience today?
Nothing. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so a couple things. So they can go, of course, you can go to debbieallen.com. And then you can get the free mini book version of the Highly Paid Expert, which is going to give you a guideline of how to kind of put that whole expert business together. That's the first thing I want you to do. Go to debbieallen.com, sign up for the free gifts, okay? And then when I'm doing teleseminars, live events, stuff like that, you're also on that invite list, so you'll know about my new event. That's my virtual summit that's coming up next month. And so then also you'll get all kinds of different things. So the other thing I want you to get is I'm trying to think of the other ebook. Well, just go there. Go to debbieallen.com, get that one. You'll get the other stuff. I'll get it through a stream. You'll find out. Just start following me. And you're going to see me there. Sign up for Tanya's live event. You're going to see me there. I look forward to meeting you there. And if you can't make it, well, that's not even an excuse because you've got plenty of time to plan it right now. But if not, just keep following both of us. Make sure that you work, because Tanya will be on my stage too when I do the Highly Paid Expert that I do twice a year. So if you sign for the free gift, you'll know about everything. So just go there and do that. And I look forward to seeing you on the road and getting to meet you in person and inspiring you with this expert business for sure.
Perfect. Also, I posted, or I need to post. Here's the link to a offer that we're doing right now. If you want to start one of these live Blab TV shows, you can do Periscope. I'll talk a little bit about it too. But if you'd like to do this, have it connected on your website so it automatically populates. It automatically, people can register. It counts down to the day. Everything is done for you. It's super easy to do. So I'm going to show everyone how to do it step by step by step by step. And you can go to Tanya Hoffman. Remember, Tanya's with an O and a Y. Hoffman's with one F, two N's, because my husband's family doesn't know how to spell it right. And then that's .com. And then it's just /TV. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Debbie, for being on today. I'd love to have you come back anytime.
Oh, you're awesome. This was fun. I feel like I got to know you on the, and we got to entertain people at the same time. So I love it when you just talk casually. So guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. And it's been a pleasure to be here and get to know you more, Tanya. I can't wait for us to hang out together and really build some long-term relationship.
I love it. Love it. All right, everybody. We will see you next time. Monday. Let's see. Next show. I do it Monday through Friday, but my next show is on Tuesday. I have to skip over Monday because I'm speaking. I don't do shows when I'm speaking. It's kind of hard to be in two places at once. So we have Tunisia that's going to be on. She's incredible. Y'all all will want to get to know her. And we'll go from there. So thank you. Bye.